Hello guys, Train Lover 16 here. So this is a video that I've been wanting to do for quite a while now, but it's got lost among all of my other projects that I've been prioritizing. I've been prioritizing my VHS reviews and gameplay videos, I've been prioritizing writing the script for my Paw Patrol movie review, and I've also been prioritizing my novel and developing all of my long-term future projects. But I finally found time to make this video, and I think this is a very appropriate time to do it, considering how in a few days' time, as of when this video is being uploaded, I am going to the Romney, Hythe and Dymchurch Railway again with Daniel BTDM. Yeah, and I will be streaming from it again. So look forward to that. Anyway, this is a video I've been wanting to do for a while now. In this video, I'm going to be ranking all 13 of the Romney, Hythe and Dymchurch Railway's mainline engines from worst to best. Now, a couple of disclaimers before we begin. This list is entirely my opinion. This is not hard fact. This is not a general consensus among RH&DR fans or anything like that. This is purely my opinion and my opinion only. This video isn't even based on how good these engines are in terms of their historical significance and how well they've served the RH&DR over the years. This is entirely my opinion, and this list is entirely, and the rankings for this list was entirely dependent on their appearances, what their liveries are, the shape of their tenders, their overall physical appearance, and the sound of their whistles, and also what types of tenders they have. So yeah, this list is mainly based on how much I like their physical appearance, but it also their historical significance and the sound of their whistles are also factors in these rankings as well. So yeah. If you have a totally different opinion to me, that's fine. Feel free to like an engine I don't like, and feel free to dislike an engine I like. Okay, guys, we've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's not waste any more time and get straight into this. Let's start with the worst of the worst. At number 13, we have Captain Howey. Oh boy, are the diesels on this railway bad. The reason I don't like them is because this railway was conceived as a steam railway, and to have these diesels, and to be pulled by these two diesel locomotives, sometimes, it just breaks what makes this railway so special. This railway was conceived as a 1/3 size steam railway. So when I'm pulled by these two diesel engines, the part of what makes the RH&DR so special for me gets taken away. And so as a result, I am not a massive fan of the railway's two diesels. I get why they were built. I get that they were built to make the school trains more efficient and more cost-effective to operate and easier to operate. But I mean, why do you have to use these two diesels on passenger services all the time? I get that during high season, the railway needs some extra trains, and having these diesels be on standby to be brought in at the last minute if necessary. I get that, but using them in regular service all the time, just why? Yeah, I am not a massive fan of Captain Howey the Diesel at all. I sort of like Captain Howey's livery, and I like the fact that he's named after the railway's founder, but those two factors aren't enough to save Captain Howey from being at the very bottom of the list. Yeah, I do not like Captain Howey the Diesel at all. So yeah, absolutely the worst one of them all. Moving on. At number 12, we have B Snell. B Snell is not much better. I like the fact he's named after one of the railway's directors. And fun fact, B Snell was actually originally named John Southland and was painted red. He was named after the former headmaster of the Marsh Academy. But yeah, for me, and was the railway's first mainline diesel and was built specifically to run the school trains. But yeah, for me, JB Snell is really not great, and the only thing that puts JB Snell above Captain Howey is his black and yellow livery, which I honestly prefer. I honestly think the black and yellow livery suits JB Snell a lot better than Captain Howey's livery. Yeah, not a lot to say about JB Snell. In fact, he may very well be the engine with the least I have to say about. Yeah, basically I have all the same gripes with JB Snell as I do with Captain Howey, but the fact that his black and yellow livery, I think suits him better and therefore makes him slightly better than Captain Howey. Yeah, JB Snell and Captain Howey, the only two RH&DR engines I do not like. They are the only bad ones on the railway. So let's move on to the average ones. At number 11, we have Southern Maid. Now, nothing against this engine. I really like her. She's one of the railway's oldest engines, and she looks really nice. Really like her design. Yes, I've got nothing against her, really. But I feel that she's the least interesting of the railway's 11 steam engines, especially when compared to them. Her green livery is quite generic. She has my least favourite tender design of the railway steam engines. And she doesn't have smoke deflectors, which, by the way, always make a steam engine look more badass, in my opinion. But yeah, green livery is quite generic. Least favourite tender shape. The only thing that makes Southern Maid unique for me is her ex-Isle of Wight hooter whistle, which sounds really cool. But yeah, historically this engine doesn't have anything going for her. And she has a generic livery, my least favourite tender shape, and her ex-Isle of Wight hooter whistle is the only unique thing about her. So yeah, I don't dislike her, but she's just painfully average for me. But I don't hate her, as I said. She's just very uninteresting when compared to the other engines. She still looks great, but she's uninteresting when compared to the other engines. Yeah, that's basically what I've got to say about her. Moving on. At number 10, we have Northern Chief. Northern Chief is pretty much exactly the same in design as Southern Maid. Exactly the same tender shape, 462 Greenlee Pacific. But the only things that put Northern Chief above Southern Maid for me is I prefer his darker Brunswick green livery. I think it suits him more. And I prefer his bullied West Country class whistle. I think his whistle is slightly better than Southern Maid's. And he's got smoke deflectors, which, as I just said, almost always makes a steam engine look cooler. Almost always. Flying Scotsman. Gyro deflectors. Yeah. Again, not a lot to say about Northern Chief. Pretty much everything I've already said about Southern Maid applies to Northern Chief. It's just that I prefer his darker Brunswick green livery, his bullied West Country class whistle, and yeah, he's got smoke deflectors, which makes him look more badass. Moving on. At number 9, we have Dr. Sin. Now we're getting into the good ones. Dr. Sin, in terms of physical appearance, is very good. I love his Canadian design, love his tender shape, his whistle sounds really awesome. His whistle actually is from a former A4 class, London and North Eastern Railway A4 class locomotive called Dominion of Australia. But the thing that brings Dr. Sin down for me is I just don't think Dr. Sin's black livery suits him very well. Yes, black I do not think suits Dr. Sin very well. Which is a real shame, because the engine itself in terms of physical design, looks really good, both the engine itself and the tender. It's just the black livery does not suit Dr. Sin that well, especially when compared to Winston Churchill's red livery. But yeah, other than that, I think Dr. Sin is a good engine. And I love his funnel as well, and I love all of the brass details on him. He looks really unique. Yeah, he's at the bottom of the good ones. Yeah, he's good, but not great. Moving on. At number 8, we have Black Prince. Black Prince I consider to be the oddball of the railway's locomotive fleet. Black Prince is the only engine on the railway that wasn't built specially for it. Black Prince was actually built in 1937 in Germany, long after the railway was completed, and Black Prince didn't come to the railway until 1976. And even if Black Prince did come to the railway the year it was built, it would be extremely controversial given the regime that was in Germany in time. The Nazis. But yeah. What do I think of Black Prince himself? Well, the fact that he's the railway's only engine not built specially for it makes Black Prince very unique for me. Really like his red and black livery, suits him perfectly given that he's a German engine, and German steam engines always had that livery. Tender is not the best, but that's not, I don't really find that a problem. Whistle sounds really good, especially after Black Prince's very recent overhaul as of when this video is being uploaded. Whistle sounds really good, even better than it sounded before his overhaul, and Black Prince even now has a lamp on top of him since his overhaul. So yeah, Black Prince has definitely been improved since his last overhaul, but not enough to put him above the other engines on this list. The only reason Black Prince is not higher on this list is because is because he wasn't built specially for the railway. That factor definitely makes him unique, but the fact that he was not built specially for the railway means I cannot rank Black Prince any higher. So yeah, Black Prince is number 8 for me. So yeah, let's move on. Number 7, we have the Bug. Again, the Bug is a very unique oddball, but not quite as much as Black Prince. The Bug was built for the railway as the construction engine, but then after the railway was complete, the Bug was sold to a Blackpool showman before being sold on to a railway in Belfast before being scrapped in 1950. And somehow, the engine managed to survive for a further 20 years before being found by Sir William McAlpine and brought back to the railway. How that happens is a complete enigma and a massive act of God, but I'm really glad it happened. I love the Bug's orange livery. Tender's a bit basic, but that's to be expected considering the Bug size. I love its valve gear arrangement, and I love the Bug's whistle. But yeah, it's a very unique engine that's had a very interesting history, but the only reason the Bug is number 7 on this list is because it's the railway's only steam engine that's not used in regular service due to its size, and because it's not regularly used, I cannot rank it any higher on this list. I have been pulled by all 13 of the railway's engines at least once, but I've only been pulled by the Bug once when I went to a Basil the Bug day in 2015. So yeah, the Bug is a really great and a very unique engine, but the fact that it's the least used of the railway steam engines means I cannot rank it any higher than number 7. So yeah. Again, the Bug is very good, and I'm very grateful to have been pulled by him at least once, but the fact that he's only really used on special events means I cannot rank the bug any higher than number 7. So yeah, moving on. Number 6, we have Typhoon. Now, in terms of physical appearance, Typhoon is brilliant. I love Typhoon's smoke deflectors. Again, they make Typhoon look really badass. Typhoon's got my favourite tender design of the railway's tenders. How it curves inwards and curves at the back as well. I just love Typhoon's curvy tender. Green Goddess and Hurricane also have that tender design. But I just don't think dark greens, BR dark green, suits Typhoon very well. Yeah, Typhoon is really great in terms of physical design, and I love Typhoon's whistle. It's very, very unique sounding, but green just does not... This dark green livery just does not suit Typhoon for me. And for that reason, I put Typhoon at number 6. If Typhoon was painted in a completely different livery, in a livery that was much more suited to it, Typhoon would definitely rank higher, I think. Because in terms of physical appearance, Typhoon is brilliant. It's just, the dark green just doesn't suit Typhoon at all. So yeah, I really, really like Typhoon, but yeah, green just doesn't suit him. I'm going to place Typhoon at the very top of the good engines on this list. Now let's move on to the great ones. At number 5, we have Green Goddess. I really love Green Goddess. This is the first engine on this list that I will say I flat out love. Green Goddess is the oldest engine on the railway, the very first one that was ordered. Unlike Typhoon's dark green livery, I think this apple green livery really suits Green Goddess perfectly, especially given her name. I love her curved tender, as I said, same tender design as Hurricane and Typhoon. And in fact, the funny thing is, without his smoke deflectors, Typhoon just looks too similar to Green Goddess. So I'm glad Typhoon has smoke deflectors, and I'm glad Hurricane has smoke deflectors too. So, yeah. Green Goddess has historically ranks very high because of her being the first engine built for the railway. But I just love her physical appearance, love her tender, love her green livery, and her 3-chime whistle is just really, really amazing. Except as of when I'm uploading this video, she unfortunately doesn't have a 3-chime whistle. She kind of has like a clone of Northern Chief's whistle. I think Green Goddess is actually using Black Prince's old whistle temporarily. At least I hope it's temporary. I hope she gets her regular whistle back soon, because I really, really, really love her usual 3-chime whistle. So yeah, really amazing engine, but it really is a bummer she's not currently using her normal whistle. Sorry guys, I just need to clear my throat. So yeah, amazing engine. Yeah, really great engine with lots of historical significance, and I just love her. But she's not quite as good as the 4 other engines I haven't mentioned yet. So let's move on. At number 4, we have Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill, for me, is just brilliant. Everything about Winston Churchill just suits him. His bell, his red livery, his tender design, his absolutely badass whistle, everything, and his physical design. Everything about Winston Churchill is just brilliant. And he's named after the World War II Prime Minister, one of the heroes of World War II. So really, there's nothing not to like about Winston Churchill. He's almost perfect. He's an almost perfect engine. Everything about Winston Churchill just works for him. Everything about him just suits him. And Yeah, there's almost nothing I'd change about him. Okay, I do think he looked slightly better when he had that darker red livery in the 1990s and 2000s, but for me there's very little not to like about Winston Churchill. He is just perfect in every way, and there's very little that I think needs to be changed about him. Maybe change his livery back to that dark red livery he had in the 90s and in the 90s and 2000s. But apart from that, he is just a perfect engine. And there's hardly anything that needs to be changed about him. I just love Winston Churchill. Right, now we move on to the top 3. If you know your RH&DR engines, you know which ones are coming next. Number 3, we have Hercules. Again, like Winston Churchill, everything about Hercules just works. His dark red, his London Midland and Scottish Railway crimson red, his GWR Hall class whistle, his tender, it's just amazing. And the fact that he, like his brother Samson, is a 482 mountain class locomotive. That they're the only 2 mountain class engines in the UK, and those 2 facts alone guaranteed them both a spot in the top 3. And another thing that makes Hercules brilliant is the fact that he was turned into an armoured loco during World War II and had 2 hopper wagons between him that had Lewis guns in them. And Hercules just looked awesome in his World War II appearance. Yes, Hercules is historical significance, and also Hercules was the engine that pulled the very first train on the 16th of July 1927. Yeah, again, Hercules is really great, both historically and in terms of visual appearance. The only thing I'm going to nitpick about Hercules is I'd honestly prefer it if his boxy tender was replaced with the curved shaped ones that Hurricane, Typhoon, and Green Goddess have. That's the only thing I think would make Hercules better. But other than that, Hercules is a near-perfect engine, historically and in terms of physical appearance. Just absolutely brilliant. Well, guys, we're down to 2, and if you know your RH&DR engines, you know which 2 are next. And whichever engine is number 2 on this list, you guys will know number 1 will be on the list. So, which one do you think I'm going to pick for my number 2? Which one will be the second best? And which one the best? Am I going to pick it? Am I really going to pick that one? The suspense is killing me. Number 2 on this list is Samson, which puts Hurricane at the number 1 top of the list. We'll talk about Hurricane in a minute, but first we'll talk about Samson. Samson, again, is a near-perfect engine. Great Eastern Railway blue livery just perfectly suits him. His whistle is absolutely badass. Love his tender design, though again, I would prefer it if he had the curvy tenders that Hurricane, Typhoon, and Green Goddess have. And yeah, he is just... Again, Samson is just perfect in almost every way. The only thing that disappoints me about Samson is, you know, before he went out of service for an overhaul between 2013 and 2018, he had red. His side rods were painted red, and which for me made him look very unique. His red side rods made him stand out from the other locos. So I really wish they kept the red side rods for after his overhaul. But the one other thing I'll nitpick about Samson is I find it a major bummer that his smoke deflectors were removed after 2018. Because again, they just made him look so badass. And like really strong and powerful. And I'm really disappointed that his smoke deflectors weren't kept. And neither were his red side rods. And again, his tender could be replaced with a curvy one similar to the ones Hurricane, Green Goddess, and Typhoon have. But other than those three very tiny little nitpicks I have about Samson, he is just a near perfect engine. Absolutely love Samson. His livery, his whistle, and his physical appearance, and the fact that, again, he's a 482 mountain class. He and Hercules are the only two mountain class engines in the UK. So yeah, an absolutely near perfect engine, and there is very little that I think could be done to improve him. So yeah. Now let's talk about my absolute favourite, which you guys now know which one it is. Hurricane. Hurricane is the absolute best of the best Romney, Hythe, and Dymchurch railway engine. In fact, Hurricane is isn't just my favourite RH&DR engine. He is one of my favourite engines in the whole United Kingdom. Everything about him is just how an express engine should look. The smoke deflectors, the gorgeous Caledonian Railway blue livery, the curvy tender, the awesome sounding L&ER A4 chrome coloured whistle, and it sounds so amazing. Hurricane is just everything that makes an express locomotive good, even if it's only 1/3 the size. And Hurricane was also the very first RH&DR engine I was ever pulled by, so I have a very emotional and sentimental connection with Hurricane. And I am so grateful that Hurricane was the very first RH&DR engine I was ever pulled by. He's amazing. He's just got everything that makes an RH&DR engine and an express locomotive perfect. And he's just amazing in every way. And I am so grateful he was the very first RH&DR engine I was pulled by. Yes. There is absolutely nothing that I personally would change about Hurricane. He is perfect in every single way, and I do mean perfect. There is nothing that I would do to change him. And he is he's my favourite, one of my favourite steam locomotives in the United Kingdom. Oh god, sorry I'm repeating myself, guys. It's just, I just love Hurricane. You are brilliant, Hurricane. Oh god, now I've forgotten what I wanted to say next. Yeah, Hurricane is unquestionably brilliant. There is just nothing I would change about him. Yep, you've done the RH&DR very well, Hurricane, and you've done me very well. Yes. Oh yes, I remember what I wanted to say now. He may only be 1/3 the size, but he's still a very badass engine, and a brilliant, powerful passenger express engine at that. In the words of the Arsdale Railway engines, never overlook a little engine. So yeah, that about concludes this video. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, feel free to like an engine I don't like, and feel free to dislike an engine I like. This video was entirely opinion-based, and I'd like to know your opinion now, guys. How would you rank these engines? How would you position them both? feel free to tell me in the comments down below. Yes, I will not judge you if you change any of the rankings of these engines. But please be respectful of other people's opinions, of other people's rankings of these engines in the comments down below. Don't get aggressive if they have a different opinion from you. And please don't get aggressive if I have a different opinion from you. So yeah, that about wraps up this video, guys. Thank you all so much for watching once again. Please like, comment, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to me, TrainLover16, if you haven't already. And look forward to my live stream from this railway on Saturday, as of when I'm uploading this video. So as I said, that about concludes this video. Please be respectful of my opinion and other people's opinions in the comments down below on these engines. And yeah, as I said, that wraps this video up. Thanks again so much for watching, guys. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in my next video. Goodbye, everyone!